gumbo, stir up the gumbo. Calling all around the world. Get it, start with a roux, that's me and you. Add the Holy Trinity, that's rhythm, chords, and melody. Come on now, add your spice. Tell your story, very nice. Calling all around the world. Stir that vocal gumbo now. Stir it up, stir it up. Get it, get it.
Get it, get it, get it, get it. Woo!
Oh, I'll never stop laughing and loving the pots falling, pots and pans falling.
We were early on, pandemic, sheltering in place, and we were having to basically grab whatever instrument we could find, make some music with it, and go. And I'm
right.
It's so funny because I look at that jingle now and I'm like, we've already passed through 2 seasons. That was spring into summer, and we're heading into fall. And I just feel like, wow, this is
we're heading into late fall, almost November. Well, let's get to the real questions. What are you drinking?
Well, first of all, let's welcome everybody.
Because
let's not forget to tell everybody that they've actually showed up to Vocal Gumbo Happy Hour. This is where you're supposed to be. And there's my little partner over there, Janice, with her sassy pink top on, which is sporting the kitten
against Trump. Let's face it, nobody likes him. Not even kittens.
I don't know how it's possible, but I think you're absolutely right. And I'm just wearing blue because if you'll notice right behind me, this lovely T-shirt, I can't wait to wear it. So I'm gonna break it out on a special occasion, but I thought I'd just sort of hang it in the background, just as a little decor concept.
I love how you dress the set. It's beautiful. Welcome. And as always, we want to thank all the essential workers, people, scientists, all of the police and firemen, all of the hospital workers, certainly doctors, nurses, sanitation people, the storekeepers. Thank you so much for keeping us going during this time.
The poll workers.
And the poll workers. Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking about that last night when I went to vote, that there they were, just making sure everybody was, we had a really couple of nice people that are wandering down the line, long line. They're like, if anybody needs to use the restroom, let us know. We'll walk you over here. If anybody needs a refreshment or a glass of water, let us know. And it was all about trying to make our sense of civic duty go as smoothly as possible and feel welcome. And so I was just so charmed. So poll workers out there that are sitting there and making sure everybody gets to vote and gets the information they need when they need it. Thank you.
So where did you go to vote? Where do you go to vote?
Out in Suffolk. I actually voted out in Southampton, and in my instance, I haven't moved out here. I registered out here, but it didn't make it in time. So I actually had to go and sign an affidavit and fill out a form. And what was so cool is, I thought this was cool, where the person that was helping me, they said, listen, let me, I'm just going to circle the things right here that you, please do not get this wrong. Like, make sure you put your right birth date, your address, and your end of your social security. Make sure all of this is correct so that your vote counts and it doesn't get thrown out. And I so appreciated that, because she took her time to just say, I want you to pay attention to these things. And I was like, thank you.
Awesome.
So
that's
awesome.
Really great.
What about you? When did you vote?
We voted on Monday morning, and we voted not in a regular polling place, but we voted in a big church on Houston Street,
nice.
West Houston, and it was really well attended.
Yeah,
I mean, the line was around the block in Soho, going into Soho, but it was very efficient, and it only took us like 35 minutes to get in.
Great.
So, can we show some of those pictures, Lori Green?
Yeah, I mean, I was, you're not allowed to really take Oh, there, that's us. We're last night. So it's pitch black out there, the lines. And so, yeah, there we are. The family's out voting. And it was the first time because Ella's 18. So it's her first time voting.
Oh, that's exciting.
How cool is that?
That's very cool.
Yeah.
There's me in the
Well, she's subtle, but she makes a good point.
I was covering my third eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it wouldn't get hurt.
Yes, yes, that's very important. You know, the other thing I was hearing on Rachel Maddow last night, of course, is Stacey Abrams was on, and they were saying, listen, if you have a mail-in ballot and you haven't sent it in yet, don't mail it at this point. Just go and walk it to one of those drop boxes or take it to, wherever your polling centers are, or so that you can really have your vote count. So that's kind of a nationwide thing. Just make sure that, like, if you've got that ballot in your hand still, make sure you actually walk it in now.
Well, everybody, I know no one's going to forget to vote this election. So we're just giving you a gentle nudge.
Yeah. And no one's also going to forget to drink.
Okay. Well,
I mean, do you see that she didn't even miss a beat? She was just like,
I never miss a beat.
What have you got?
Just a simple California Chardonnay tonight.
Yeah. Good.
And I have these incredible glasses that were a belated birthday gift from Cheryl Benteen.
Cheryl.
I know.
Those aren't
these
lovely.
freaking beautiful? They're from Barcelona.
See, well, I'm sort of representing then the Spanish Barcelona vibe because I've got a nice Rioja here that I'm going to have because it's just kind of a red wine kind of night. So
yeah, I can see that.
My glass isn't as pretty, but here's to you, girl, and here's to all of our viewers out there. We're clinking you, and we're saying, chin up. We're gonna get through this.
Mm. And with that, we want to share some exciting news,
Which is
the first 10 people to sign up to our Patreon page, and we have a Patreon page. That really is the best news. With all kinds of levels for engagement with the Vocal Gumbo Village.
Yes.
Behind the scenes, that could be interesting. And special interviews and things like that. And also the first 10 people will receive an autographed Vocal Gumbo flask.
And, you can put anything in there. It just doesn't have
hand sanitizer, anything. Bleach.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be drinkable tequila, sipping tequila. It doesn't have to be that.
Look how beautiful the detail work on this.
Yes. And that is done by our good friend, Catherine McKeever over at Tag Your It. And she's been a really great ally helping us get all of our merch together.
Yeah, there's the information right below.
Yes.
www.patreon.com/Vocal Gumbo. So please check it out and see if there's some kind of level that feels good to you. We started $5 a month. So
yeah, and then it goes to 20, 50, 100. The sommelier is 100. There's the executive chef at 50, I believe, and 20 is the is it the pastry chef?
The pastry chef, yes.
And the $5 is a very respectable Maître d'. And we actually want to really say to all of you, whatever level you join, we appreciate it because it's the way in which we're going to kind of keep this art floating along and keep our community sort of floating along. And it's humble pie right now, right? But the more of us that even jump in on this concept of supporting the arts, the more of actually a livelihood we might be able to make happen for us in this long winter of pandemic that we are all living through.
Yes. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
That supports, that tunes in, that gives us a kind word.
A kind word.
Crusted red.
You're lovely. You're nice. Don't ever change.
Don't ever change. So I think, speaking of incredible things to drink and listen to, I think we should invite our first guest on.
You think?
I just can't say enough superlatives about the musicianship and humanity of this guy, who I'm such a fan of, and I was a fan of his music before I met him in person, because I recorded one of his songs on one of my albums, A Thousand Beautiful Things. And Brian Backus was playing me a lot of Raul's songs. And he's just an incredible guy, and we want to invite on Raul Midón. There he is! Woo!
Hello.
Hey, Raul.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I started early on Happy Hour, so, you know.
Well, then you certainly will be able to explain about the bottom of the cycle.
Oh, geez. Well,
I'm serious. I want to hear. Okay, first, can we preface this by saying that Raul has a ham radio obsession? Can you tell everybody what you told me?
okay. Well, so this is, and I'm going to try not to make this boring because it can be really boring.
Don't be a geek. Don't be a nerd.
I love nerds. I love nerds.
Really quick. So basically, when I was 12 years old, I got a ham radio license, and you actually had to go to the government and take a test. And ham radio is a way of talking to people all over the world with what is thought of as shortwave. And what we do is we actually bounce signals off a layer of the atmosphere. So instead of talking through the internet, which is much easier and more convenient, we put up huge antennas and big towers. I have a big tower in my yard, and there's a layer of the ionosphere that we bounce signals off. And basically it depends on the thickness of the ionosphere, depending on how the sunspot cycle is. So depending on how much ionization comes to the sun is where we bounce our signals off. So I wrote this, there's a song that I'm writing now called The Bottom. It's about the geekiest song I've ever written about ham radio. And so it's one of my first contacts ever on ham radio was to Senator Barry Goldwater back in the 70s when I was a ham radio operator. I've spoken to King Hussein. I've spoken to some pretty. In the old days, there was a lot of people who were ham radio operators. These days, it's mostly old people because these days it's computers. There's a lot more different things that people can do, but ham radio at one point was the edge, the cutting edge of technology. So I'm still into this. We also had to learn Morse code, which I'm a skilled Morse code practitioner.
Did you ever write a song using Morse code?
I've actually written a few.
Okay.
My first song that I wrote using Morse code was a song on my State of Mind album called "Sitting in the Middle." The melody.
My God, I love that song.
Yeah, the melody is my old amateur radio call sign, KB5ZOT. That's the melody in Morse code. So it goes. So that's KB5ZOT in Morse code.
You know what's so cool about that is like you are communicating with us unbeknownst to us, right? But this it's like a layered sense of communication through music and art. And I think that's
almost nobody knows that that's what that is.
No,
it's yeah. It was just a way of coming up with a creative platform. It was a way of. I was telling Arif Martin, who produced the album, about that, and he goes, "Well, you should write something with that in it." And so I wrote that, and it was a huge hit in Japan. And almost nobody knows that that's a Morse code message.
That's crazy. I told you my baby brother, also got interested about the same age you were in Morse code, and Morse code and ham radio, and he became an engineer.
Yeah, I mean mostly it's a techie hobby. A few notable people. Joe Walsh is a ham radio operator. Marlon Brando was a ham radio.
What?
Absolutely. Chet Atkins was a ham radio operator as well.
Oh, that's crazy.
Very interesting. So how are you and your family, Kat and Tinga, how are you coping with, this sort of sense of we're all home? You were in the midst of, you'd released a new record.
Yeah.
Now you're working on, I think you're working on another record, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I'm always working on something. I don't know if it's a record or what.
Right.
Every day I go down into the studio and I work on something, and I'm very fortunate to have the home studio, and to have learned the skill of being able to record and produce and engineer myself, because that's keeping me sane in the. As a matter of fact, yesterday I went to Best Buy and bought 2 more terabytes of audio drive so that I could keep, because I ran out of space on my terabyte drive.
Right.
For
Yeah,
stuff.
I think we're all running out of space because
I think you and I should do that as well.
Seriously, I'm totally running out of space. My computer's gonna die. Just we're maxing all of our media out in such an intense way. But you're right. The thing that caught my attention is just, it is the thing, the writing and the creating is the thing that's sort of keeping us sane in this really sort of insane time that we're living through. And being able to pour yourself into your art, being able to be an activist through your art, being able to do any of those things helps sort of cope with all of what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think, for a long time I was ambivalent about any kind of political statements because I thought, you don't want to alienate anybody, blah blah blah. And at some point, I thought, just because I'm a person that's an artist doesn't mean I don't get to express my opinion. And if you offend somebody, well, you offend somebody. I mean, that's Frank Zappa is one of my heroes. So,
I think we all go through that at some point. I mean, I've gotten. Is that Kat?
Yeah. What was that, honey?
Tell her to come on.
Yeah, but not as an artist. Not as an artist.
I have gotten a couple of emails, and you may have gotten, Lauren, just shut up and sing, basically.
Oh,
yeah.
Don't want to hear your opinion about it.
I was working with Ricky Lee Jones, and she had a song called "Ugly Man" about Bush, about W, and she started singing that, and somebody said, "Shut up and sing," and she stopped, and I was shocked because I was opening for her, and I was shocked, and she said, "Get this person out of here. I will not sing until this person is out of here." And that was such a beautiful, it was like, this is my show. I'm going to do what I want. If you don't like it, you can leave. She said, give him his money back.
Yeah.
Right. The Barbara Streisand says the same thing. Give him his money back. Yeah.
Give him his money back.
And it's always him. It's always him.
But, this is my show. So, and I always remember that. It was in Philadelphia, actually. It was a beautiful moment.
Well, part of the reason why we also wanted to have you on is we wanted to talk a little bit about, we're so excited, first of all, that you are on the upcoming show. Both Janice and I admire you so profoundly. We were so happy to have sung on the last record with you. And
it was awesome. It was a great time, by the way. It was wonderful. And you guys coming over to the studio in New Jersey, and we just had a great time.
Yes. So much fun. So we got to do it again, only now we're in our respective corners. But we love this song, and we've just done our typical thing where actually your tracks, by the way, are recorded beautifully. The guitar sounds gorgeous. Thank you. Your vocal sounds gorgeous. It's really high quality already.
Well, I'm a nerd when it comes to recording, and unlike some jazz guys, I'm a click nerd. I want things to be absolutely in time. And, with with the advent of technology and with some people that really work to make it possible for me to use the tools of recording. So I make sure the levels are right, and I make sure that everything is right. And the fact that I can do that as a blind person is extraordinary. And I will never take that for granted, because, in the old days there were meters and you couldn't see whether they went into the red or not. And you just
That's
sort
right.
of had to listen, or as a blind person. Well, now, I have a keystroke I can hit, and I can see how the levels are doing, and I can read peak meters and all of that. And it's,
So how does the signal come to you? By a sound?
it's
Vibration?
I use a screen reader, which there are a few of them. Actually, Mac now has a screen reader called VoiceOver. And then JAWS, which stands for Job Access with Speech. And basically, the computer talks back to you. So the program that I use, somebody created a keystrokes, because, as you know, when you look at a screen, when you're recording, there's a ton of things up there. There's waveforms, there's all kinds of stuff. So you have to get the screen to tell you what it is you want to know, not all the things you don't want to know.
Right.
So you have to configure that. So you hit a keystroke, and it configures the screen so that it says your level is, -5 or -6 or whatever it is. It's a pretty involved process that people a lot smarter than me came up with, so that we could, access that kind of granular information, as far as, in editing, audio editing. I mean, I can edit to the tick.
That's so great.
Most people audio edit with the mouse,
Right.
So
I think this is all really cool, to the extent that we all are gaining more autonomy with owning our own work, and really, really owning our own vision, to say, this is really how I want it to sound. And I don't have to have it go through a filter of a couple of different people, but this is how I want it to sound. And I think that's the one thing that's been really great about setting up my home studio. I know Janice feels the same way.
Yeah.
We went from people that didn't really have home studio setups and kind of were doing it, to we're doing it on a daily basis and learning every time.
And we're amateurs. There's no question. We're amateurs. And that's why I have an engineer that I call, and I say, Michael Riley, who worked with Arif for many years, is, when I want something mixed really well, I call him. And I say, okay, Mike, what? And when I need something explained to me, Michael O'Reilly has been my engineer as far as explaining stuff to me, and it's really helped.
Yeah.
And make no mistake, I would rather be in a studio and just sing and not have to punch myself in and out. And we
don't have that luxury anymore.
We don't have that luxury. Yeah. And also, we want people to know that Raul will be presenting 2 pieces on our show Friday and Saturday. Something that's a collaboration, that Lauren and I, and Trist Curlis, my partner in the Manhattan Transfer, sang on, that we love. And then a solo piece of Raul's called Hasta Luego.
Which is a premiere, by the way. Nobody's ever heard that.
Oh my God, exciting.
Yeah, it's never been heard. It's a piece in which I played all the instruments. I played the bass, the bombo, which is an Andean drum. It's a leather drum with 2 sides. You play a mallet with one side and the stick with another, and then and then I played the charango, which is a 10-string, which I don't know how to play at all. I just figured it out. And
sounds like you know how to play it.
But it's an instrument that is used a lot in Andean music. Actually, one of my heroes, Paul Simon, did El Condor Pasa, and he wrote words to that. And there's a charango in that. But there's all kinds of charango in Andean music, and it's a beautiful sounding instrument.
It really is. Raul, we're going to bring on our second guest, and you can hang if you want, or you can go finish your tequila if you want. But I would suggest staying on, because we have an amazing singer from the Broadway stage and beyond with us. Some people may be familiar with her through her work on Broadway, but and other people by her stretching out with people like Kenny Werner and Oz Noy.
Most of the best singers are on Broadway. That's my theory.
Yeah, they're pretty great. Well, we'd like to bring Betty Buckley into this conversation right over here.
Hi, Betty.
Hi, everybody. Such a pleasure and honor to be here. And I brought my tequila and grapefruit juice to cheers.
Yes.
This is what we're talking about. We're so happy that you're here, Betty, and that we got a chance also to, the thrilling thing about Vocal Gumbo is we're just reaching across the sound waves and Ethernet, and we're making collaborations with people, and we're so excited to have been able to ask you to join us and do a profound piece that oh my goodness gracious, Janice and I are just so moved by it, moved by your performance, and moved by also the relevance of this piece now in the time that we're living.
Right.
So we're so happy that we could sort of work on that with you.
Yeah, and you've had a long journey with this song.
Yeah, I sang it and recorded it. Well, it was written by Jason Robert Brown, one of our great musical theater composer lyricists. I used to say young composer lyricist, but he's one of the elite of the musical theater. And I've known him since he was like 21 years old or something, before all of his massive success on Broadway. He wrote Parade that Hal Prince directed. Recently, he wrote the Bridges of Madison County, beautiful score, and the last 5 years. So he wrote this song that we all love the day after the last election. And so there's a profound sadness and poignancy at the heart of it. And when I was making my album shortly after that, I reached out to him for some song suggestions, and he sent me that one, which he had recorded the day after the election when he wrote it. And so I sang it on my album. I've sung it in concert. And then last November, when I was in New York, I did a couple of concerts with him at his engagement in New York City, these monthly wonderful concerts that he was doing. So I was thrilled. I mean, I reached out to Janice recently to see if I could study with her. And we had this interesting lesson, but I was so overwhelmed with my listening program that I was like, oh my God, I have to get to work. And I was like, and because I've been a fan of both of you for many years. And Janice's album, Short Stories, was very inspirational to me. And I thought, when I first started recording, I was like, oh, I want to do albums like that. And when I was working with Kenny Werner, that's when we made our first albums, and I played that album for him, as a touchstone of what I thought the kind of stories, intimate stories that I wanted to tell. So when you guys reached out to me, I was beyond thrilled because I'm such a fan.
Wow.
Well, you are a storyteller, though. Honestly, Betty, you are. There's so much story in your voice.
Thank you.
And so when you hear a reading of a lyric, I mean, it's you hear it. You hear it as a singer, but also as a storyteller, as a narrator, as a, it's kind of everything all wrapped up into one, which is all the best stuff. It's like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and so, we were really, really excited to present this tune, and the tune is called Hope. And so we got to collaborating on that, and we're very excited to share it with our viewers as well, coming up in a couple of days now. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, and thank you, Betty.
I loved your idea. I loved your idea that I reach out to Oz Noy, my guitar player, and ask him to do something fresh with it. And I just think it was just so essentially moving with just the simplicity of the guitar. And the first time I heard it, I was like, oh my God, that's so touching. And it's different than the way I've done it in the past. But and I really loved our version. I'm excited to see the video when it comes together.
And you know,
me too.
I know. You know what's fun about
me
the guitar?
too.
Since Raul is here, you know, the guitar is such an interesting instrument because unlike a piano, it there's more space in the stratosphere to sing and lay your voice in. And so that's what was sort of nice about using the guitar on the tune as another way to approach it, because it just opens up more space for the voice to live, and then also potentially you know, more space maybe for Janice and I to get in there and play with some sounds and spaces. So it just was a fun angle, and I love the guitar, so I'm always a fan of that.
Yeah,
Me too. I wish I could really play the guitar.
Me too.
I love it so much.
So annoyed.
But what I really want to hear about, Betty, is your fight to reclaim memory from Donald Trump.
Oh,
You
right.
have to tell us this story.
I can't even believe that he co-opted that song, and he got a letter from Andrew Lloyd Webber already, right? Or a couple.
Right. He started using it at his rallies like years ago, and people would immediately, whenever there was a recording or a video online about him using the song, people would say, "Is this you? Is this your version?" And I'd be like, "What?" and freaking out, you know. So it took us a while to get through to Andrew. My friend Rick Miramontes at his press company in New York represents Andrew and is a dear friend. And so I was reaching out to, you know, this thing really intensified my passion for stopping him, you know, stopping Drumpf. It intensified over the spring, and I reached out to Rick and I said, we've got to get Andrew on board, you know, because Andrew's conservative, but still, I just thought, this is not good, you know, what he's doing to all of us. He's got to step up. So Rick reached out to Andrew. Entreaties through my emails were not being heard, and so Rick convinced him to take a stand, and so he just in the early summer. But apparently that fell on deaf ears. And recently there was another video of some ridiculously misguided guy dancing all around at one of the rallies, lip syncing to Memory. And I was like, oh my God. And this particular guy, by the way, was run out of some theater in Georgia, you know, and had a very ill-fated reputation. So I was really just fleet of comments like, how can you let this happen, Betty? Isn't there something you can do? And I was like, because I'm on the piece, right? So, and I was just this actress for hire back then, and I'm on the cast album. So I'm amazed that BMI and ASCAP don't cover us in these ways to protect artists from this. And so I reached out to my friend Rick again and said, please help me. We've got to do something. He goes, you to write an open letter. And so I was like, okay. So I worked on it with a lot of guidance from Rick and this wonderful guy, Andy Schneider at the company, to give me some perspective on it, and wrote this piece. And then they said, now you have to publish it. Oh, you know, it's an open letter. I was like, okay. So I did it. And fortunately, it's been picked up and mentioned elsewhere. But I got this outpouring of support from like-minded people. And I got, you know, attacked by some unlike-minded persons, but it's easy to block those guys. So anyway, so that's the story.
Janice, we can't hear you. You're muted.
Yes, I'm muted. And you're in Texas.
Yeah, I'm in Texas
You're
at my
in Texas.
ranch.
So I'm
recovering
sure
my shoulder replacement surgery here in Texas. So
well, we hope you're recovering well. I mean, you've been definitely But the thing that I think is interesting about what you're saying is like, because we were just talking about how that a notion of like being told to just shut up and sing, and our artists are really supposed to kind of be a little bit sort of apolitical, so to speak.
Right.
And really where we are right now, the climate, you just can't kind of live there anymore in that cozy place of like, well, I'm going to make myself palatable for everybody. I think that's not really going to work. And so in a way, you're shut up and sing, or shut up and write an open letter, shut up. And I mean, we all have to sort of put our energy in the places that we think are really profoundly important. And so those are ways that we can do that. So thank you for writing your open letter.
Thank you. These are very different times. This is not politics as we knew it in the world that we grew up in. This is a case of a criminal regime coming in and stealing all of our institutions and being on an all-out assault to destroy our democracy. These people are hateful people. They have no compassion and no heart for the rest of humanity. And all of us who can have a say or have any kind of platform at all need to stand against this to the best of our ability. It's like, this is not normal. This is not politics as usual, where you can think of, bipartisan. And this is about criminality and monstrous evil. So that's my feeling about it.
No, you're absolutely right. It's not Republican against Democrat, because he's not a Republican.
No,
he's co-opted the party, I think.
He's a reality show TV star who's an idiot and who is absconded with. It's a nightmare, and I know all of us are experiencing this on a daily basis. But I just go to bed at night in prayer. I wake up; it's my first thought in the morning in prayer. Of please let us, reclaim our democracy. Let us reclaim our the institutions of justice, and let us return to a time of normalcy and decency. That's my prayer.
Amen. And Raul, I'm sure that it was interesting. This past week we had our show was Say Her Name, and we had Diane Reeves and Terry Lynn Carrington and Lenora Helm on talking about women in the industry and Black women in the industry. And I think one of the interesting things about the pandemic, perhaps if there was one strange, sad revelation, is that it slowed us down enough to realize we've got a lot of work to do. And maybe we can do it. I don't know. Raul, you're muted, Raul, if you want to just jump in at all.
Am I in there? Am I there?
Yeah, you're back. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think, I think we have a duty now as artists to express ourselves. Unfortunately, we've gotten to the point where this is an existential moment. If we get another Donald Trump president, we live in, and that's just the way it is. So, we need to express ourselves, and I think it's going to be a very rapid change. I think if there was low voter turnout, I would be very pessimistic. But the fact that we have such a high voter turnout is really encouraging to me. That we have a bunch of people who maybe have never voted before, or maybe have never really paid attention, saying, hey, what we have in this country, we are in danger of losing. We have lost some of it already. Right. My father's from Argentina, and I was in Argentina during the military dictatorship. And I'll tell you a very short little story. I was hanging out with my brother. We're both blind. We're both young kids. And a policeman comes up to him and asks us for our documents, and we pretend not to speak Spanish, in order to get out. My father's in a bookstore. He's the kind of person that goes into a bookstore, starts reading, and doesn't come out for a while. So we're stuck outside, hanging out, waiting for him to come out of the bookstore, and we just pretend not to speak Spanish in order to sort of finally the guy kind of says, all right, these little kids are not from here, and we're going to leave them alone.
Right.
But we got asked for our documents in the middle of the street in Buenos Aires in the late 70s, when the military was killing people and putting them in planes and dumping them in the river.
Yeah.
Or putting them in cages, like in our situation here.
Yeah.
In the United States. That's unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
Well, I think we have extraordinary artists here, and I'm grateful that you guys have joined our Vocal Gumbo collaboration and our very humble community that we're creating. Janice and I have no idea what the heck we're doing. We just knew that when the pandemic hit, we could no longer, sit still and read through our cookbooks for the third time. Then I'd lose my mind. So we're so grateful that you're here. And in fact, we have a third artist that we'd like to welcome, because this platform is really to hopefully have everybody feel the interior of our hearts, as well as they get so much of the exterior of who we are and our music, and they feel us. But to hear our words and in this very informal setting, we'd like to invite Steve Tyrell to join the conversation here. And please, everybody, linger on, because I feel like it just gets juicier and juicier. But welcome, Steve. Oh, look at you. You got yourself all snappied up.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I saw you guys. I couldn't get my yogi sweatshirt on. But I've been enjoying what I'm hearing. I have a kind of a unique upbringing. I don't know what you would say. I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm Italian. I grew up in the 5th Ward of Houston, Texas. Joe Sample was my next door neighbor, and I was the only white boy in the neighborhood. So to experience that as a young kid, and that kind of prejudice that was going on, segregation in the South, and and then to see what's evolved in America for me with my eyes, it seems so disappointing where we are right this minute. I thought we had made, when President Obama got elected, I wanted to shout from the rooftops.
Right. It's a very proud moment.
Yeah.
America, I was so proud of America. We got through all this crap that I grew up with in the South, and all of a sudden had elected our first Black president. And now I don't know what's going on, and I think when President Obama got elected, the people that I grew up with, I'm 76 years old, were probably just, well, let's just go along with it for a minute, and not, they didn't come out. They were like hiding. And then when Trump got in, they just all came back to life, all this stuff. And I'm very scared right now. Betty, you were wonderful. I loved what you said.
Oh, thank you, Steve.
It rang really close to my heart.
Thank you.
I'm honored to be here with the doctor.
Listen,
You're the doctor, Janice. Janice and I go back to 1971. I had a label with Clive Davis, and I heard this master, yeah, there it is, Stand and Be Counted. That's my label. And I said, whoever this is, we got to pick them up, and put this record out on my label. And 50 years later, we're singing a duet together.
But you know what? Do you remember that originally this was called All Power to the People?
Yeah, I had forgotten the title, but I looked it up today.
But we had to change it because a week before we were going to release this, John Lennon put out Power to the People.
Oh, man.
So
yeah, now I remember that.
We had this record.
Jerry Goffin was a dear friend of mine back in those days. And during the Nixon administration, he was saying that we we were going to leave. We could only leave Vietnam with an honorable peace. Remember that?
Mhm.
That was Nixon's mantra. So Jerry wrote this lyric, what kind of logic and what kind of brain, what manner of man would think it was sane, and what heart and what soul, what heart and what soul would beat to choose to kill millions for an honorable peace. We made the Nixon hate list for that.
Yeah.
I thought,
Proudly.
my God, we did it.
Yeah.
And I messed up some of Jerry's words, but
That's okay.
he was a wonderful, wonderful lyricist. Anyway, I'm just vamping on
Well,
something
we're
to
so
say
happy.
after
In
all
fact,
this intelligent stuff I've been hearing.
we love it. In fact, Steve, meet Betty and meet Raul. Sometimes we're literally meeting each other on this platform. So it's so we're so happy that you guys are all here. And Janice, and you do really share an interesting history, Janice.
Oh my God. In 1970, I was 18 years old, maybe?
I
Right?
don't know.
Hello.
1970. Was I born yet? I don't know.
You were born, you were married to an actress, and you had a record label, and it was a subsidiary of CBS, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
With my man Clive.
Yeah.
Betty, I see you play at the Carlisle. This is my 17th year at the holiday season at the Cafe Carlisle, but we won't play this year, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We're playing in the backyard.
I was doing a
What were you at?
2-week engagement at the end of February there, and we were like sweating it out through the first week, but people kept coming and they were separating them out. And then the rule was, you can only do 50% of capacity. And then the following Monday, we got word that our second week was canceled. So we packed
That
up
was this past year, huh?
Yeah,
This year,
2020. And so we packed up a van and drove home. So that was my last concert with my band or set of concerts. And it was really
That's so
sad and
because everybody
disturbing.
wants to play, no one wants to be home. And,
Right.
but you got to look out for other people too.
Yeah. And then as soon as we got back home to Texas, like all my concert work was canceled. Right away, boom, 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 into 2021. So it was like, oh man.
I know. Well, I'm not worried. I got enough money to last me the rest of my life.
All right, then.
Assuming I die by December the 1st.
Right. I think that's the thing. How maybe if you guys could all answer. Because I know, Steve, you've got a project that you're working on, paying tribute to Ray Charles, and
yes,
I know that it's so. Maybe you want to tell a little bit about that, but also, like, all three of you could speak to like this notion of like we all are suddenly grounded, like the plane is grounded, our world is grounded, and so how do we sort of keep our spirits up, keep our work up, keep our positivity up, but maybe tell us a little bit about your project, Steve.
Well, it's called Shades of Ray, and Ray was my man. It's everybody. Ray was everybody's man, and
Absolutely.
I got a chance to work with him. I mean, to me, he's the greatest of all time, bar none. And so I just did a whole bunch of Ray Charles songs, and we were ready to put it out. But now the record company, I'm with Warner Brothers, and they don't want me to release something when we can't go on the road to promote it.
Oh my God.
To catch 22. So I don't know. It'll probably come out in the beginning of the year or something. But I love it, and it takes a lot of huevos to do a Ray Charles album.
It does.
It's like, why would anybody want to hear this? That's what I keep telling them. You've heard Brother Ray, but it's a real, honest, heartfelt tribute, and we got great arrangements and some nice guests. And
beautiful.
I can't wait for it to come out.
Do you do any country tunes?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
How could you? Not.
I know. Right.
I Can't Stop Loving You. He did it.
Yeah.
The whole modern sounds of country music with Ray Charles was a turning point in his life,
Right.
I mean, he started with, Hit the Road Jack and those, those kind of funkier things. And then when he did that modern sounds and country music, he became a worldwide superstar.
Was you don't know me on that record?
Yeah.
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 Wow, what a version. Woo!
Yeah.
You know, he even did a song from the Yiddish songbook. He did.
I don't know that one.
He did. He did.
Maybe if he did the Italian songbook, I could have. What's Yiddish one?
No, he did. It's in English. He did "Where Can I Go," which originally was a Yiddish tune. By I forget the name. I just recorded it, as a matter of fact.
He used to love to say I played in a bluegrass band, man. You know, he played in a country band when he was starting out. I forgot the name of them, but it was something.
And so you and Janice have a collaboration. What are you two up to?
Yes, I'm very happy about it.
Wouldn't you like to know?
I would.
You know, you see, Betty and Raul, sometimes Lauren doesn't know what I'm up to. And and I don't know what she's up to. I mean, I don't know what
the way this came out.
I don't know.
Bounced it back and forth from one coast to the other.
I know, isn't it great?
And it just came out fabulous. I'm
I
of
love
course,
it.
You know, I mean, singing with you is ridiculous.
Oh, come on!
You got so many Grammys. I just want to come over and like dust them off for you. Sometime.
They need to be dusted.
free.
They need to be dusted.
Well, go ahead, Janice.
No, I was going to say this might be a good time for us to talk about the music show on Friday night at 8 p.m. Vocal Gumbo Episode 8. We've got, of course, Raul Midón, and my partner Tris Curlis is joining us on one of those collaborations. Betty Buckley, Steve Tyrell, and me. We've got Duchess, our good friends Duchess, Amy Cervini, Hillary Gardner, Melissa Stiliano. We've got Camila Meza, who is from Chile. Incredible guitarist and composer, singer. Rhiannon from the Big Island of Hawaii, and Sage, the incredible four-woman group that we've had on before, but they're going to do something. They're going to open our show for us.
And our a cappella group, which is acapella, they're from the a cappella camp, directed by Reggie Bowens, and we always feature young artists. We feel like they should be up on the platform or the grand stage, feeding off of the energy of the people, the veterans, if you will, and helping them, bring them along. And also, frankly, they always just freaking steal the show anyway, because it's like dogs and babies.
That's right.
They're just like, forget it. It's just our young artists. I think for me, I'm always so excited to see what they're thinking of, what their creative muse is firing, and it's just always thrilling. So we're very excited to always support that. And as always, we like all genres, all styles. We just want to support all of it and celebrate the vocal arts.
And also, we're giving 10% of our huge haul of money to 10% to the African American Policy Forum, the Say Her Name campaign.
Yes.
So
I just a really frivolous question, closing, sentiments, like what the heck is everybody doing at this point in terms of being inspired to either make food or like, here we are. For me personally, we started out and I was super inspired shopping, and I'm making food and I'm loving being home. I've never been home this long in my whole adult life. For 7 months. So now I'm kind of like, okay, what am I going to make? Okay. I've done my whole playbook at least 7 different times. Now I'm riffing on something else. And so what's everybody really loving about right now where they are? Like, what are you cooking? What are you making? What's turning you on? What's getting you through it? Who's inspired to go first? Anybody have lead?
Hello, can you hear me?
Raul, go.
The lamb tamales from Imperfect Foods are ridiculous. If you haven't tried them, get the lamb tamales from Imperfect Foods.
Write that down. That sounds great.
They are crazy good. Crazy good.
I love tamales.
I do too. And I've never made tamales yet because they're labor intensive.
They are.
But
you need special things like corn husks and masa.
Capra Farms.
Right.
Capra Farms.
Okay.
Okay, lamb.
I'm telling you, I grew up with tamales because I'm from New Mexico,
Yes.
and these things are
Love
off the chain.
Okay, can we please put that in the chat? Because I need to know. I'm going to go to the. I'm going to order them. Okay, who's got something else that they're really excited about?
Go, Betty, go.
Go, Betty.
Well, I just want to
Well,
tell you that. Oh, go, Betty. I didn't know.
Go, Betty.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Steve. Go.
I was just going to say that every day I have a radio
Steve.
show that I love. That's public radio in Los Angeles, KJazz 88.1, and I play all of your music. So you can do that. You can
Nice.
get, what is it, jazzandblues.org. So 3 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Wow.
That's cool.
So what do you
check us out,
eat?
you know.
What do you eat when you get home?
What do I eat? Pasta.
Yes.
I'm Italian.
You're Italian, of course.
I'm Italian. What else?
What the hell?
Every day. Do you
I
make
had
your own
spaghetti
pasta?
alla checca last night. You know what that is, right?
What is that?
Spaghetti alla checca.
Oh,
That's
that's fresh
chopped tomatoes.
tomatoes. Fresh chopped
Yeah,
tomatoes.
fresh tomatoes.
Very nice.
That was good, and it's easy too. You
All
make
right.
some pasta, chop up some tomatoes, and live happily ever after.
I
Exactly.
can eat that forever. How about you, Betty? Go, Betty.
Well, I'm not really, but I've been journeying out to Joe T. Garcia's in Fort Worth, which is the best Tex-Mex food in the world. And they take your temperature and everybody's socially distanced and you wear your mask. And so I've taken my mother, who turns 95. Her name is Betty Bob. She's turning 95 on Sunday. So I've taken her, my brother Norman, who's a film director, came home to spend some time with all of us. And so we've been taking the risk to go to Joe T's on a fairly every couple of weeks. So that's my obsession. But one thing I wanted to share when you were talking about things you're doing, I'm teaching my Zoom classes. I start again another week for the Terry Schreiber Studio. And I have 2 alumni classes of people that have studied with me for a while, and then a new person class as well. So I'm starting to do that again next week. But I wrote this thing right when the pandemic was happening after my Carlisle engagement, because it was this experience I had at the Carlisle watching a Judy Collins concert of this beautiful little mayfly flying over her head through her concert. And at the end, in the last notes of music, landing in her hair. And I was so touched by that. I wrote this little story about it. And I got my collaborator, Christian Jacob, to write this beautiful piece of music. And we were all recording our parts from, of course, different places. Jamie Haddad in Cleveland, and Christian and the bass player, Trey Henry, on the West Coast. And my engineer was in Virginia. And anyway, it came out with this beautiful, beautiful musicalized story about this little mayfly committing to her love for music instead of just living a life as normal mayfly children are supposed to do. They don't live very long, just a matter of a couple of days. So I wrote this, and I want it to be an animated animated short. It's like 4 to 5 minutes long. So if anybody knows a great animator or producer, I'm dying to get this made. So that was the first thing. And then I made this recording of For the Beauty of the Earth and Jesus Loves the Little Children, which kept playing on a loop in my head since March. And I kept feeling, this is what I was taught in the Methodist Church growing up. Why are all these would-be Christians absconding with this essential, simple, beautiful message of love and truth that was the philosophy and teaching of Jesus Christ? I don't understand this. This is not Christianity as I knew it. So again, got Christian to do this beautiful arrangement, and we recorded it, and we reached out to this wonderful children's choir at the School for Arts and Enterprise in Southern California, and they recorded their parts that Christian wrote. And they had 4 teachers. There were 60 children, each one with their parents shooting the videos. And my friend Matt Amato edited it all together. It's a beautiful video that we did just out of our passion for the campaign. And you can find it on YouTube, For the Beauty of the Earth and Jesus Loves the Little Children. And it's this beautiful produced.
Wonderful.
I'm really proud of it. So I hope you guys go take a look at it. It's lovely.
All right. Well, we'll put it in the chat if you
yes.
want. Yeah.
No, we'll put it up on Vocal Gumbo.
Yeah, we'll put it up.
And anything that you folks would like to share with our viewers, the upcoming Ray Charles, Raul, I know that you are busy writing and creating, and Janice and I are always like, we cannot wait to hear what's coming, what's happening. And of course, we know that your wife, Kat, and you are both incredible foodies, and we shared actually a beautiful meal together in New York City where the menu was lamb, wasn't it? Janice, was it the lamb?
Did I make?
Well, Lauren, you made these beautiful espresso cupcakes that were just incredible. I have to say, as far as pastas, when Steve was talking about pastas, I was in Italy at the very end of December, and I got to say one of my favorite pastas ever was in Sicily, and we had fennel and
Sausage?
what was it? No, it was fennel. Oh my God, I'm forgetting now. Fennel. It was.
Get your wife to come on this. Come on. We're hearing her anyway.
It was a fennel. It was a pasta in Sicily that they made that was just absolutely incredible. There's such a variety of great food in Italy, I have to say.
That's my favorite place to eat.
What
for sure.
my grandmother called
Finocchio. Yes.
Finocchio. And
the more
the more you eat, the more your nose grows.
Cacio e pepe is another one of my favorite. Cacio e pepe pasta.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's all good. That's
and of course pesto.
It's kind of soul food of Italy, you know.
Of course, pesto.
Pesto pasta is my favorite. That's amazing.
I know.
All right, there we go.
There it is.
Well, hopefully we'll all get together for dinner at some point.
I want to tell you about one song that I'm very proud of that maybe somebody will check out. It's called "Remember the Dream," and it was a song that James Ingram sang, that Joe Sample and I and my late wife Stephanie wrote, and it became the theme song to BET. And
wow.
You know, and Coretta Scott King heard it on BET and asked James if he would sing it at the 25th anniversary of the grave of Dr. King. Check it out. It's called "Remember the Dream" by by James Ingram. And I've been trying to get Warner Brothers to really re-release it.
Well, I just want to say one thing. People were talking about how to make it through this pandemic. All of us are publishers. Own your publishing. That is about as good as it gets.
That story is as old as it gets too.
It's about as good as it gets. If you own your publishing, let me tell you, I have never regretted the day that I made a very bold. I was like, I want to own my publishing. I bought the publishing back from Warner Chappell for a lot of money back in the day when you could get loans before the recession in 2008, and it is really coming in handy right now.
Nobody will ever disagree
all right.
with that. Unfortunately, there's so many people, back in my era earlier on, that sold their publishing, sold their rights to their royalties.
Well, I'll tell you something. I just told the label that I was on that I don't want to be on the label anymore because they don't do anything for you. I've got the publishing, I've got my studio, and this is the time for us to own our work and for us to do our work. And there's distribution everywhere.
With you all the way, man. But this time has been for quite a while. quite a while.
Well, but now it's really becoming clear, right? I mean, this is if it wasn't clear before, it's clear now, right?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
I just feel sorry for the people who had no chance at it, you know.
Oh no, for sure.
The early pioneers of rhythm and blues, and you know, and no chance.
Not only that, the people that contributed so much. You look at somebody like Elvin Jones, like one of the greatest drummers in the world, that contributed so much to those records, but there was no system. There was no way for Elvin Jones to get credit for contributing to those records.
Right. Or any part of the writer's share.
Yeah.
They were like, wait a minute, you know, here's your $15.
I mean, think about Coltrane without Elvin Jones, right? Think about Coltrane without Elvin Jones. That's crazy.
You know, and nowadays the reverse of all this technology is each song has 72 writers on it, you know.
Well, that's
the other side of the argument.
Well, you know, what is it? What did they say? Write a word, take a third, right?
Yeah. Send it over. That's a good one, man.
That is very
write a word, take a third. Well, you know what?
It should be write a word and take a 33rd, because there's 32 other people with one word, and they're all getting credits.
Right.
Well, you know, listen, I think this is the time for us to bet on ourselves as writers and publishers and producers, and maybe we don't get as much. I had the dubious honor of telling Adele not to take a publishing deal, which, you know, Adele is doing fine, I'm sure. But
we don't have to take up any.
Right. We don't have to feel sorry for her. But I told her,
I don't
please,
think we have to take any collections up for her.
Right. But for most of us, right? It's you know, even if you don't have a hit, the publishing is income for the rest of your life.
You're right, and it's always been that way. It's
income for the rest of your life. I have a Cobalt. I have Cobalt as my administrator, and I go on every day and I look at it and I'm like, oh, my income just went up. God damn.
One good thing is a lot of things are trackable nowadays. You know, like, I mean, you might get 1/100th of a cent, but you get 60 million performances,
right?
Stuff like that. You know.
Yeah, you can track it. Well,
creativity and writing is the most important thing you can do. It's not all going to be good. Listen, I told Janice, I said 1 out of every 10 songs I write is any good, but you put it out there, you do it, you keep on doing it, because you never know what's gonna happen.
Yep.
Yeah, you never know. You wake up one day and you've done a duet.
That's right.
Janet. Those guys make some money off that song, haven't they?
Manhattan Transfer was you were all my heroes and New York Voices when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You were my heroes.
Me too.
Oh my God.
I can't wait to hear the concert on Friday.
I would sit in my college dorm room and listen to to the Manhattan Transfer and think, wow, maybe someday, maybe I'll get. Oh my God! Absolutely, I am not in any way making that up.
All right, well, Raul, we have to indulge your fantasy of being in a vocal group very, very soon. All right, please. All right. You know what, guys? I mean, we've given lots of great advice tonight. I think to everybody, and a little bit of hope. Go Dodgers.
Well, they won already.
They win.
They won already.
They won.
LA is now the Lakers and the Dodgers. Are you kidding me?
And my son is the happiest kid in the world. He was born in, I posted this today. He was born in 1989, and the Dodgers, the last time they won a championship was 1988. So from 30 years, he became the biggest Dodger fan. And last night, his dream came true. And the Dodgers won the World Series.
That last pitch was unbelievable. Anyway, we want to thank you all for joining us. And we want to thank everyone who's bought a ticket for Friday night or Saturday at 2 p.m. This is for our European friends or anyone who wants to see it again. Or, we want to encourage you to get some tickets for this incredible show at momenthouse.com/Vocal Gumbo. They're $15 a piece, people. Okay? Are you happy now?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Well, really pleasure to see you, man, and meet you.
Oh, well, it's a pleasure to see you too. And a lot of respect. Anybody that's been in this business, which is very messed up for a long time and still survived, has my vote. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Steve Tyrell
mine
for
too.
president.
Yeah, right. Well, you know what? I got to go to Fort Worth because I was born just in Mineral Wells during the war. Like
That's
at the
really
end of the war,
close
my
to
father.
where I live.
I know. That's why I'm saying it. I've only been to
Really
Mineral
close.
Wells once. That's right by where you were from.
My
we went to
vet
the-
is
then
in
we went to-
Mineral Wells.
Well, I know Tex-Mex food is very popular, but you guys, if you haven't tried New Mexican food, good God, sopaipillas, I'm telling
I'm
you.
going to try that.
And the
I love
green
all that
chili
kind
of Hatch, there
Yes.
isn't anything like it in the world.
I
I know the Tex-Mex is cool, but you guys have to try Indian fried bread, sopaipillas, and Hatch green chili. Okay.
there it is.
All right. Did you write that down? I'm going to.
Vocal Gumbo. Vocal Gumbo is bringing you the next thing that everybody needs to be ordering or going to get. I love it. Thank you. All of you, thank you so much for entrusting us with your gifts and your art and your beauty. We are so grateful, and our humble little village that we've created is fortunate to have you in our upcoming show. We hope all of our viewers have enjoyed this dialogue, which rambled and was rascally and was passionate and had some advice and had some finger wagging. And we hope everybody is feeling that passion right now to come see our show, to go out and vote, to pour yourself a drink, to give yourself a hug, all those things to get through these extraordinary times that we're going through, and reach out to your community, which is
And never sell your publishing.
and never sell your freaking publishing.
Don't, no matter 100% of a little bit is better than 100% of nothing. Okay, I'm telling you.
Right.
Yes, you're so right.
You're speaking to all of our young people for sure. Sage advice from the panel here tonight. Go get your ticket at momenthouse.com/Vocal Gumbo. Sign up for our Patreon page, and I'm sure that Janice and I will provide some very interesting and perhaps spicy and weird things that we're doing to get through these productions. Here she is again. See who could do that. And join us in trying to create this keep this community alive that we're so in love with. We're so in love with this panel, and we're so in love with what we're doing right now. So we hope you'll tune in the 30th and the 31st. And anything else, Janice? Am I forgetting anything? Lori Green, thank you to our producer.
Lori Green, thank you so much. And please like our Vocal Gumbo page, tell your friends, and see ya Friday night.
Check out Remember the Dream by James Ingram. It
Yes.
has never been more appropriate than it is right now.
Beautiful.
And For the Beauty of the Earth and Jesus Loves the Little Children on YouTube.
And Raul, something.
Lamb tamales.
Lamb tamales, and check out. The Everyone Deserves a Second Chance came out so well, and check out. I released a song in September called "Dancing Off the Edge." Check that out. All produced in my
That's
studio.
a great title, man.
My wife came up with this idea to do a video. We had people all around the world contribute to it, and then we put it together, and it's pretty cool. So check it out, Dancing Off the Edge.
All right.
My album will be called Shades of Ray. Just so you know. I don't know if I said that or not.
We're gonna share all of it on Vocal Gumbo Facebook page. Tune in tomorrow to get all the goodies that you need to know about. And we thank all of our guests so much, Betty and Raul and Steve. thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being here.
Thank you.
Thank
We'll see you Friday
It's a
night,
pleasure.
people. Friday night.
Can't wait.
Thank you
for
for having me.
Friday.
This has been a
Bye,
lot of
y'all.
Calling all around the world. Mumbo jumbo, stir up the gumbo. Calling all around the world. Get it. Start with a roux, that's me and you. Add the Holy Trinity. That's rhythm, chords, and melody. Come on now, add your spice. Tell your story, very nice. Calling all around the world. Stir that vocal gumbo now. Stir it up. Get it.